This is the Nightmare Difficulty Auto Battle for Scion of Frosttide Aquina, which is also going to double as a No Charles team. You do need level 2 Virgo for this, because we need the thief bonus in order for Ervalen to even work, so make sure you have this. We don't even have any debuffs, so you technically don't need Leo, but unfortunately you do require Ervalen, which is also a pretty niche unit. You could toss him in Grace of Growth though. It's just because Aquina is one of the more restrictive bosses in the sense that you need an Earth unit that counters. So there's not too many of them out there, and your options are going to be pretty limited. I think if you were manualing, you'd have way more options to work with, but this is an auto team, so we'll be using this. Ervalen is mandatory. He is our counter spam unit. With the level 2 Virgo Blessing, he can permanently maintain his counter buff, assuming you don't have really bad timings with some of your stuff. And then we have Roana, who is necessary for us to heal up in Phase 2. Fenris and Roana are kinda filler units. You do need a secondary counter unit, ideally, and Fenris, with his extra attacks count, so his S2 works, and he works really well for this, just because his S3 does a ton of damage first off, plus the CR push can be nice, so the CR push also, depending on if you're Ervalen, like the timing on that could grief you. But his S2 cleanses the stigma from us, which is nice, lets us cycle more. Then Vivian is literally just here for attack buff. I didn't know who else to use, and I figured she's free, plus this comp works, so good enough. But let's take a look at everyone's stats. Let's start off with Ervalen. For Ervalen, you can just give her, or give him, Destro Pen Gear. It doesn't really matter, 85 crit chance since the boss is ice, and your bulk is also not very relevant because his S3 gives him a barrier, so not a huge deal. I gave him Victorious Flag anyways, damage reduction, which the damage reduction probably doesn't matter until you get to Perdition, but still nice to have, and also it gives him 16% increased damage dealt anyways. If you don't have this, you could use something like Elias Knife probably. Gives him permanent death pen since the boss is always not going to be at max HP. His skill enhances, honestly, at least get the -1 turn on S3, the rest of it you could probably live without. Next up is Fenris. For Fenris, also just Destro Pen Gear. I gave him POV to help him survive. This is just because he does not get a free barrier like Ervalen does. But he is also 85 crit chance, just Destro Pen Gear. Whatever you use on him for expeditions, honestly, use that, give him POV, it'll probably be fine. And then for his skill enhances, it's just whatever you're using for expedition, I just did S1 and S3. Up, let's look at Roana first, since Vivian's not really important. For Roana, I guess I didn't give her an artifact. She's not going to need one. Actually, I haven't done the run yet, but no, we're just going to roll with no artifact, that's fine, she doesn't need one. If you find yourself struggling though, give her Touch of Rekos or something. We can see what I have. You give her Touch of Rekos, you could give her Shimadra Staff, makes her S2 heal more. This thing here. Or you could give her Idol's Cheer to help you cycle more. Just make sure you're not out cycling your counter buff. And you could also just give her Warhorn for the attack boost. But for her stats, there's honestly not enough damage coming in Nightmare difficulty since there's no phase 3, so you don't really care. I just gave her random HP and def gear. I kind of auto-geared her, but you can definitely make do with much less bulk than this. I would max out her S2 though. Okay, this is not max, but I would enhance her S2, and S3 is nice just for other content. They technically don't need it here, just so you heal a little bit more, because she gets used a decent amount. Lastly is Vivian. Vivian, I just have this -1 turn S3, which honestly probably doesn't even matter here. I also gave her Candlestick just because you get hit a lot, and I figured, hey, she'll be able to S3 more often with this. She also has, I guess, the spell one. The CR push one is probably better. But actually, let's switch it. Yep, let's use the CR push one. And then for stats, I also just auto-geared her. Any DPS stats is fine. I don't think it really matters. Give her a little bit of bulk. Probably wants more than this, but if she dies, she dies with 85 crit chance. Let's go ahead and see how it goes.
절제된 힘을 예방한다.
여기
제가 도울게요. 어디서 감히
오만과 위선에 대한 심판의 시간.
성스러운 빛이 모두를 구원하길.
이 작은 화살빛이 전부 꿰뚫을 때까지
시전 완료.
예의를 가르쳐줘야 너의 시대는 지났다. 모든 건 빼앗아주지. 빨리 와.
차! 제! 부름에 응답하라. 아무려! 차!
조금만 더
제가 도울게요.
포기하고 불종해라.
어디서 감히 샷!
성가신이 비켜. 치욕스럽나? 그렇다면 기쁘겠어. 이 일격에 내 의지를 쏟아붓겠어.
차! 차! 후회하실 겁니다.
으악! 안 봐줄 거야. 너의 시대는 지났다. 모든 걸 빼앗아주지. 마지막 공발까지 포기하지 않을 거야.
절망의 끝에서 시작되는 희망이 모두에게 기둥이기를. 마법을 모두 파괴하라. 제!
포기하고 불종해라.
시전 완료. 차!
만만히 보는 대가야. 오만과 위선에 대한 심판의 시간.
어디서 감히
이 작은 화살빛이 전부 꿰뚫을 때까지
샷!
예의를 가르쳐줘야
절제된 힘을 예방한다.
There, we got 3 galaxy bookmarks plus this chest. Oh, these stats are maxed. So not bad. There's definitely, like, there's a lot of units that would be better than Vivian here, I think. Even if Ervalen doesn't give himself attack buff naturally, I think you just rather have another counter unit and keep the Constellation energy at 0 is probably a bit better, or just a more consistent counter attacker than Fenris, but I think Fenris, Roana, and Vivian are 3 very common units to have, with Ervalen being the only one you kind of have to go out of your way to use. But that is it for this auto team, and we'll see how prediction goes whenever I have the time to take a look at it.